Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Fox Sports.
Yesterday, the Rays got back on the winning track thanks to an outstanding pitching performance from right-hander Chris Archer, tossing 7 innings of one-hit baseball. Today, the Rays look to win the Citrus Series with Nathan Karns on the hill. Welcome to Miami. Today's Rays-Marlins game is presented by Chevrolet. Rays and the Marlins in interleague play as we greet you from Marlins Park. Wrap-up game of this series. Rays found the winning side of the ledger yesterday, 2-0. Hi again, everyone. With Brian Anderson, I'm Dwayne Statz. So good to have you with us. Well, the Rays and the Marlins in interleague play. A long game in Game 1, a little shorter yesterday afternoon, and so we have the rubber game of this series. And you know, the Rays need good pitching. They also require great offense, and they're getting that from the top and the bottom of the order, depending on wherever Kevin Kiermaier hits.
Well, Kevin Kiermaier is off to a fast start, and that makes perfect sense because he is. And we've seen that speed showcased here in the first week of the season as he continues to turn singles into doubles, doubles into triples, and he's having an absolutely great first week. 6 for 17, 5 extra base hits. That's tied for the American League lead. And we talk about his speed, but he's always flex some muscle too, because 2 home runs, 1 to center field, 1 here to right field in Friday night's game, and he'll look to keep it rolling this afternoon against the Marlins. Easier said than done in a tough pitching matchup with Henderson Alvarez.
And if you go back into last year and this year, he has hit in all 6 games he's played against the Marlins, going 9 of 19 with a couple of home runs and 3 runs batted in with that .474 average. Rays will send the right-hander Nathan Karns to the mound this afternoon. Todd Callis will take a closer look at the 27-year-old right-hander when we return to Miami.
Tampa Bay Rays get ready to wrap up the series against the Miami Marlins, hoping to take 2 out of 3 in this citrus series. To do so, they'll have Nathan Carnes on the mound today against the Marlins' Henderson Alvarez. For Carnes, he's coming out of an outing in which he struggled early on. The first 2 innings were problematic against the Orioles, but in our Toyota trend, you'll see that he locked it in. He used up 49 pitches to get through the first 6 outs, but then the next 11 outs in 46 pitches. We caught up with Carnes and asked him about really locking it in midway through that outing and really helping out his teammates.
It was nice to get out there and get through the 5th and get into the 6th after the first 2 innings. I understand that starter needs to go a little lengthier in the games, so it saves our bullpen. Being here now, I realize the impact that it has on our innings. So it was nice to go out there and kind of save our pen a little bit, I guess you could say.
So Carnes will be out there today for the Rays. He did make 3 starts as a member of the Washington National staff, but only 1 of those was against a National League team. So not a lot of at-bats in Carnes' career. We're ready for baseball on this Sunday afternoon. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson with all the action right around the corner.
Welcome back to Marlins Park in Miami, where the Rays were winners yesterday. Game 3 of this 7-game road trip. Rays moving on to Toronto for 4 before they're back home at Tropicana Field Friday night against the New York Yankees. That will be the beginning of a lengthy homestand. Rays lineup, presented by your Southern Ford dealers, finds Kevin Kiermaier in right field and leading off. David DeJesus in left hits second in front of Asdrubal Cabrera. Kevin Longoria cleanup. Desmond Jennings in center hitting 5th. Alan Dykstra at first. Logan Forsythe at second. The catcher is Rene Rivera. Nate Carnes, the pitcher, bats 9th.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Miami Marlins is going to be right-hander Henderson Alvarez, and this is what he did his last time out. First start of the year, 7 strong innings, gave up 2 earned runs, nothing to show for it. As you see, he lost to the Braves 2-1. But how about the bottom? 81 pitches, and that's what you're going to see from Henderson Alvarez. He pounds the strike zone with a heavy, hard sinker, good changeup, good slider. wants early in the count outs.
Marlins got him from the Toronto Blue Jays in the Mark Burley, Jose Reyes deal.
Let's take a look at that Marlin defense as it lines up this afternoon. In the outfield left to right, we have Yelich, Suzuki, and Stanton. Across the infield third to first, Don Kelly, Adeiny Echeverria, D. Gordon, and Michael Morse. Jeff Mathis behind the plate.
All set to play baseball. Kevin Kiermaier in the box against the right-hander Alvarez. With that exaggerated delivery to start things in the first pitch, he swings, and Rocco Baldelli hits the deck back of the coaching box at first.
Look.
Rocco, a tip of a cap there. That first pitch brought to you by Pinch a Penny, and take a deep breath, Rocco.
Well, it got down there so quick. I mean, wow. That was tracking him hard.
1-1 to count to Kiermaier. Interesting. We noted that exaggerated delivery on the first pitch of the game. And since he's been in Miami, he's done that, and apparently no other hitters have really jumped on that pitch. They've all taken it. Kiermaier had a completely different approach that time.
Well, there's a scouting report on it. You can go out, you see that he exaggerates the delivery to start off every game, and it's always a fastball. So if it's going to be out over the plate, why not take a rip? That's exactly what Kiermaier did. A little too eager and almost took out Baldelli.
The chopper down to Morse at first. So Kiermaier is retired.
And that's exactly how Henderson Alvarez wants to do his business. Last year, the second highest ground ball fly ball ratio in Major League Baseball, 2.53 to 1. Keeps the ball on the ground with a good sinker and uses that defense.
Yeah, big time ground ball percentage ratio for him. And he doesn't waste a lot of pitches. His pitch count very efficient. David DeJesus.
Last year, 14 pitches an inning. That was good for second in Major League Baseball. Would you care to take a guess at who was number one? And unless you've done the research, and you probably did, you would never. I was shocked when I saw the name.
Well, you're going to lay it on me then.
Most efficient pitcher in Major League Baseball, Clayton Kershaw, with 250 strikeouts,
yep,
and still 13.7. That blew me away.
Yep.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, and he doesn't waste his time being good either. I mean,
1, 2, 3, you're out.
DeJesus gets the start in left field. A big pinch hit here the other night, and for a man who coming out of spring training, a lot of folks figured he didn't have a place on this club. Well, the way the injuries have stacked up, he's had an important role on this team. 2-2.
And he's a veteran. He knows how to work an at-bat, work a count. You know, you're never going to get a bad day out of David DeJesus. He's not going to come to the ballpark, you know, in a sour mood. He's going to be ready to do whatever you ask him to, and he fits in nicely right now, I'll tell you that.
There's a ground ball through the right side. So DeJesus is aboard. Ball bobbled momentarily by Stanton, and DeJesus, with that play in front of him, takes advantage and winds up at second.
You know, going back to Friday night's game, we've seen some shaky defense out in right field from Stanton. And right here, he costs his pitcher 90 feet. David DeJesus, a nice job. That ball leaking out over the plate, able to hammer it by Morse, and what should have been a routine single. And this is what you love, that little hop at the end off the heel of the glove, and David DeJesus not content with just taking a nice round at first base, looking to go to first two guys in the order. That's the way that they play, and he ends up at second.
Scoring opportunity in the first inning. And here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera had a big hit in yesterday's game, the 2-out triple that keyed the first run of the game in the 6th inning. And had 3 hits and a couple of runs batted in here on Friday night.
Well, this is where Henderson Alvarez gets tough. You know, with runners on, runners in scoring position even with 2 out, the batting average just continues to plummet off of him. He's trying to take advantage of a hitter's aggressiveness to drive a run in and get him to swing at that sinker out of the zone.
Two and one. If you have the ability to put the ball where you want most times, and he does, then you can take advantage of an over-eager hitter. And you're right, when there are men in scoring position, the tendency for most hitters is to concentrate on trying to drive that run in, and they will be a little aggressive, more so than with the bases empty up there. 2-2 on Cabrera.
Well, that's what he follows that sinker up with, is a good changeup. Also has a good tight slider. But like any sinker baller, if you're a Rays hitter, you want to see that ball elevated. And if you get one, you just can't miss it.
Liner into center. There's a base hit. That will get De Jesus home. Ichiro Suzuki with the pickup in center, and the Rays lead 1-0. Cabrera comes through here in the first.
Well, Cabrera swung through the previous pitch, which was a changeup, and it was elevated. And Henderson Alvarez comes right back to it and leaves this pitch up. And Asdrubal Cabrera right on it, gets it out. Tell you something else. Yeah, you got to love the fact not only does he drive in the run, but Asdrubal Cabrera had a big turn at first base too. This Rays lineup looking to be aggressive on what seemed to be just singles.
Now Evan Longoria, this pitch pops away. Mathis can't find it. Cabrera winds up at second on a wild pitch. Another man in scoring position for the Rays.
Sloppy beginning to this game for the Marlins. That was a ball just down in the dirt. Mathis doesn't get his glove turned over in time. Hits that shin, and Asdrubal Cabrera alertly moves up. Rays taking full advantage of the miscues by the Marlins.
So let's see if they can take advantage of this situation. Longoria with a lot of success off Alvarez. That's a strike, and the count is 1-1. In fact, today's big viewing matchup would be this Longoria-Alvarez matchup. Evan 7 of 13 with 3 home runs off the right-hander. There's a shot grab by Echeverria, and they're going to get the double play. Well, just inches away from another run right there. Instead, it's a double play on the hard hit low line drive off Longoria's bat. So the Rays settle for 1 run in the inning on a couple hits, and the line drive double play leaves the bases empty. base running call to be made by Cabrera.
There's Cabrera right there, and I guarantee you what he's thinking is a line drive in front of me, I'm going to freeze. A line drive behind me, I'm going. And that's what happens. A line drive behind him, he thinks that that's going to go through based on where Echeverria was playing. Not so. That is a very, very tough call, and it didn't go well for the Rays.
Marlins light up, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. D. Gordon again leads off. Yelich and Stanton. Morse, the cleanup man. Ichiro Suzuki in there hitting fifth in front of Don Kelly. Echeverria, Mathis, and Alvarez completing Mark Redmond's lineup. Nathan Karns on the hill. His first pitch is in there, a strike around the knees. Comes another strike in there. 0-2.
Well, Nathan Karns, he's got the good firm fastball. Very good power curveball, made much more effective when he's able to locate that fastball.
Well, the general consensus when the Rays got him is that he immediately had the best curveball in the Rays organization. That's what they think of the curveball.
It's a spike curve where he's rotating that ball just over one finger, and he can really spin it. I mean, it's a true power curveball, swing and miss type pitch. But if you don't locate the fastball, it limits the effectiveness of that pitch. That's only good when you're locating the fastball, pitching from out in front, and then you can throw that curveball where it's going to appear to be a strike and then all of a sudden wipes out and is below the zone. That pitch doesn't work if you're always behind.
Late swing by Gordon, protecting and fouling it away. So the count is still 1-2.
Yeah, much like we were just talking about, hitters with runners in scoring position are more anxious. Well, hitters, a lot of them, most of them, don't like to hit with two strikes. And that's where you can bury that hook and get the chase.
Capper the other way, foul. Well, command of his fastball is key, as you mentioned, and I think it was evident in his first start against the Orioles when he had a difficult time finding the proper location. Found himself in trouble the first couple innings and then settled in and was brilliant following that. But the damage had been done. Short center. This is Jennings out there today. Gordon is out of there.
Well, let's take a look at this Rays defense as it lines up. Jennings out in center field. You've got David DeJesus in left, Kevin Kiermaier in right, and then across the infield, third to first, what we've been seeing, Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Dykstra. Rene Rivera, of course, behind the plate.
You know, talking about that last start and Karns, good stuff, the curveball and high octane velocity. Yelich fouls it on the bunt attempt. But since the Rays have had him in their organization, when you look back at the starts he's made between Durham and then the 3 starts now in a Rays uniform, that's 31 starts. He's given up 5 earned runs or more 11 times and 1 earned run or no earned runs 13 times. And that is a telling breakout. It was last start was a microcosm of what he has been since coming to the Rays organization. And then it tells you that when he struggles with command, things go the other way in a hurry. But then when he can find it, he throws the ball well enough that you're going to stay with him, as the Rays did. They needed innings, but he was also giving them effective innings. So that's the challenge for Nathan Karns. A great ability here in this guy. And let's see if he can put that all together and do it a little quicker in terms of establishing command. Oh, that's tough right there. No chance. Yelich with an infield hit.
Swinging.
Rivera was chasing it, but nothing he could do.
No, that was a swinging bunt. First of all, if a guy squares around, maybe you can get a jump, you know, if it is a bunt. But with a swing, no chance. This ball just jams him, gets in, and he just puts it in a perfect spot. Nothing you can do.
Carlos Stanton. 3 for 15 on the year. There's 3 runs batted in this series. Pops it up, and that will carry into the stands for a strike.
Any manager, going back to what we were talking about with Nathan Carnes, they want to send the guy out. They want to know what they're going to get. Not going to win every game, but they want some consistency of performance. And up to this point, that's the one thing he's not been able to give you. Even last year, his 2 starts with the Rays. Dazzles in Toronto, 7 shutout, and then gives up 3 home runs in his next start. And that's what makes it tough.
He bounces this one in, and good base running by Yelich. He advances. Now he's in scoring position for Stanton.
Now he's just a good all-around player, good instincts, and he sees this ball headed to the dirt. And when you do that, you can take that aggressive secondary lead, see the ball headed to the dirt, and immediately break for second base. That's what he did.
Chop to Longoria. He'll hold Yelich. Out at first, 2 gone with a man at second.
Well, that's a big-time pitch. Giancarlo Stanton has not gotten it going for this Marlins offense yet. They've been struggling as a whole. Were shut out again yesterday by Chris Archer in the Rays bullpen, and a good curveball here gets him out and around that, out of sync. A little chopper down to third base. Big pitch in a big spot.
Mike Morse. Morse with 2 runs batted in. Fort Lauderdale native.
Michael Morse, 6'5", and we've talked during the course of this series how he likes to get his arms extended, and yet the Rays continue to pound fastballs away on him. Like they just don't believe that with a good firm fastball that he's going to be able to catch up to it out there.
Chases this one in the dirt, 1-1, and one of the things he'll maybe be susceptible to is a breaking ball, because he is trying to get things started early.
Yes.
I mean, hitters know when they're beaten by hard stuff. They try to start things fast.
The swing that he just took at that curveball, that proves your point, number 1, and number 2 speaks to the way that Carnes is able to spin that curveball. And you get a good 12-6 curveball with good spin and out of the hand. If there's no hump, it's tough to tell the difference between that pitch and a 4-seam fastball. And so if you're starting it early, you commit and you swing at a 56-foot pitch.
Carnes is ahead 1-2.
Maybe 57, 58, but short nonetheless.
Always strive for accuracy.
That didn't seem right.
2 gone with Yelich at second. 1-2 the count on Morse. Rays got a run in their half the first. This is going to bounce away from Rivera and allow Yelich to advance to third.
Nathan Carnes, a couple of fastballs here that have gotten away from him. And Christian Yelich once again with great anticipation. Sees the ball headed to the dirt. You know, you can see Rivera, that glove getting flipped around late. You're not expecting a fastball in the dirt.
How about Yelich? I mean, what a guest he is.
Yeah.
That little swinging bunt moves up on a couple of wild pitches. Now he's at third. Enough kindness. Ground ball. Charged by Cabrera. That takes care of Morse. And the Marlins leave a man. We're at the end of an inning here in Miami. Rays lead 1-0. Let's go places. And by Checkers, get Checkers Authentic Philly Cheesesteak or try the new Meatball Sub. Pick yours, 2 for $5. Desmond Jennings in the batter's box. And the first pitch is a strike. Jennings, Dykstra, and Forsythe against Henderson Alvarez. It's 1-1. Two balls and a strike. Jennings with some success. We talked about Longoria's matchup with Alvarez, and Jennings in his career pretty good to this point. 4 hits, a couple of those home runs, 4 of 11. Gordon at second base handles this one, and Jennings is out number 1 in the second.
Well, all the Rays damage, 6 starts for Henderson Alvarez against the Rays. He's 1-5. And the first 5, the Rays handled him, and they handled him well. That's when he was with the Toronto Blue Jays, and that was a few years ago. He came over to the Marlins 2013, saw the Rays last year, and it's a different Henderson Alvarez, much more mature. He's got a great idea of the game plan, which is pretty much standard for everybody. Attack that zone with the sinker.
Dykstra takes a nice cut and fouls it back. Our T-Mobile game changer. Look at this for Henderson Alvarez with Toronto 0-5 against the Rays with a 6.28. Last year, a shutout against the Rays. He had 3 shutouts last year. One against Seattle, one against the Mets, and that one against Tampa Bay. A lot more, a couple of things. You'd think an extended opportunity here, but better command.
Yep.
And here's the other thing. There's a feeling that the strike zone is trending down a little bit, which should play to his benefit.
No question about it. You get that late action on that sinker that he's throwing, 92 to 94. And if you're getting that called, and then you can sink it out of the zone and get the swings off the end of the bat, a lot of ground balls.
Dykstra is out on strikes. First strikeout for Alvarez. Logan Forsythe.
And that's
a tough combination.
It
is.
When
you're getting those calls down and then you take it off the plate a little bit, hitters have to be in a defensive mode. They'll start chasing. They want to have a called strike on them, something close. Not necessarily a good pitch to go after, and they're in a position where they chase.
We talk about fastball command ad nauseum. I'm sure the people at home are like, yeah, enough with fastball command. But really, when it comes down to pitching, that's everything. Because that's what allows you to then extend the strike zone and throw. You can't throw chase pitches if you're falling behind. Then you just walk the yard. You're not a big leaguer.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important for Nathan Carnes. If he can get strike one with that fastball, put it where he wants it. Now the curveball, I can throw in the same spot. It's not going to end up there. It's going to bottom out below the zone. Then that's when I get those swings. They don't swing at the curveball in the dirt if it's 3-0.
That's why that first pitch in a sequence is so important. First pitch strike.
Yeah.
And there is a swing there, and it'll vary from year to year, but it's going to be somewhere, 40 to 50 points in a batting average for or against.
And it can even get bigger when you get to the 1-2 or 2-1.
Yep.
That 1-1 pitch, that's what pitching coaches will tell you. Listen, get strike one, but if you don't, you better get the next one.
Yeah.
Because now at 1-1, now where are you going to go? And a 1-2 count compared to a 2-1 count, when you look at on-base percentage, wow. Huge swing.
Sharply hit to third. That's Kelly. Cross to Morse, and the Rays are up and down. Bottom of the second coming up, 1-0 Tampa Bay. Sun Sports partnering with Checkers to offer the Citrus Series sweepstakes. It's your chance to win a prize pack full of Sun Sports and Rays team gear. Here's how you enter. Tweet hashtag biggest Tampa fan and hashtag sponsored to @SunSportsFoxFL. And at the end of this series, one random winner will be selected for our grand prize. Ichiro Suzuki will open the bottom of the second inning. And the pitch to him is outside 1-0. Marcell Ozuna originally in the starting lineup, but he was late arriving at the ballpark, and Mike Redmond moved him right out of there and put Ichiro in his spot in center field. DeJesus in left takes care of the pop-up. One away.
Well, send a message to your team early in the season that kind of stuff will not be tolerated, and kudos to Mike Redmond for doing that. He wants to get this team going. Just one win on the season. Swept in their opening series, have split the first two. Offense hasn't gotten going. Marcell Ozuna, a big part of that offense. And he says, listen, priorities. If you can't show up on time, you don't play for me.
Don Kelly starting at third base. The Rays remember him from his time with the Detroit Tigers. He's a handy man to have around. He can play everywhere, and in his career has. He's played all 9 positions. Third base this afternoon.
But has he done it at once? Because I know of a guy that did that.
Yep.
Pretty good player.
A couple of guys. Bert Campaneris.
I was thinking more Bugs Bunny.
Well, Bugs Bunny, he's everywhere.
Bugs Bunny left field.
Yeah. It's got to be our favorite cartoon of all time.
Of all time.
Yep. That's a strike. 2-2.
Big comeback against the Gas House Gorillas.
Yeah. We have that video in our vehicle, and the grandkids have to watch it every time, wherever we're going. I want Bugs. Ground ball handled by Dykstra. So 2 away. Kelly out of there, and it brings up Echeverria. And Danny Echeverria, the shortstop. He made some headway offensively last year. The Marlins were a little concerned about that. Started this year 1 for 18. He's an interesting player when you look at his game on both sides, defense and offense. You can get mixed reviews. Dykstra handles this one. So we go 3 up and 3 down, and we head into the third. 1-0 Tampa Bay. The Rays exactly what they needed after that long night in game 1 of this series.
Well, and he probably could have stayed in there. As you see, just 84 pitches, 1 hit. Nothing on the scoreboard for the Marlins as the Rays would shut them out. But his 83rd pitch was 98 miles an hour.
How about that?
I think there was plenty left in that tank.
Well, you know, he wants to be a stopper, and he was yesterday. Rays really needed that after utilizing the entire bullpen in the first game of this series. They used everyone out of the bullpen in a bullpen day except ground ball third. Rivera still looking for his first hit on the chopper down to third. Used everybody except Jepson in that game. And Archer yesterday gave the team exactly what they were looking for. I like his approach. And he said after the game, and he said this before, reminds me of Sandy Koufax. I remember seeing a quote when I was just a kid about him. And Koufax said, every time I go out, I start with the idea of pitching a perfect game. And if a guy gets on, then I'm shooting for the no-hitter. And if somebody gets a hit, then I'm shooting for the shutout, ultimately for the win. And that's exactly where Archer is with his approach.
Absolutely right. And, you know, he's one of those guys, and Don Kelly, you see something going on there with his right hand, has exited the ball game.
How about that? Just all of a sudden here in the middle of the inning, and Donovan Solano is going to take over at third.
A ground ball off the bat of Rene Rivera. He makes the throw, and have to wait for word on what happened.
Rivera grounded out to third. Nathan Carnes at the plate, 1-0. We'll see what we can find out about the exit of Don Kelly. Two on the count on Carnes. He fouls it back.
Hey,
he got a good count. You know, he got ahead. Gonna let it out.
Working a count. Listen, I guess it goes for pitchers too. Henderson Alvarez is going to elevate a fastball. You take a rip at it.
Yeah.
And he did.
Well, the count is full. You know, Rays in such a tough spot here. Second series of the year. They're in interleague. The pitchers have to hit, and you've got a pitching staff that's all banged up already. So you're a little nervous if your pitcher's up there swinging away. You don't want any type of injury resulting from that. It's so thin to begin with. You're really forced to look for depth and do that inside the organization to this point. Carnes swings away, however, and he's out on strikes. 2 gone.
You know, Dwayne, sometimes you've got to let him leave the nest. You got to let him grow up and maybe take a swing or two.
Well, obviously Carnes felt he was ready to jump right out of that nest.
Baby bird.
There's the disabled list. It's really ridiculous.
It really is.
Who would have thought that? You know, you knew you were going to start the season with a couple of those guys coming late. You knew that with Moore. You knew that with McGee. Most of the rest of it, where did all that come from?
I mean, all key players. I mean, just a lot of key. I mean, for your top 6 starters, you know, you've made the point about McGee, the closer, your first baseman who, you know, only hits 300 for you every year.
And your DH.
Yeah, right. And your DH that was brought over to, you know, to hit up at the top of the order, and great on base guy.
Well, he got on base and then immediately got hurt. Kiermaier with a base hit, reaching down and lining a base hit into center, and he's headed to second in there ahead of the throw. He continues to hustle his way into extra bases.
That's absolutely ridiculous. First of all, the swing. He gets a changeup. He lengthens his swing, keeps the bat in the zone for a long time, which is what allows him to get to that pitch. Number one, it was not a bad pitch. But look at him, just keep the bat in the zone, and then he immediately, every time he hits the ball into the outfield, is thinking 1+ base. And he takes a routine single, turns it into a double.
Yeah, it's like he's at full speed on the first step out of the box. So a 2-out scoring opportunity. DeJesus bounces it to Gordon. And the Rays will leave Kiermaier at second. We go to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 Tampa Bay. Already has a 2-base hit. He was left on base in the top of this inning. Bottom of the third, the Marlins will have their catcher Jeff Mathis lead off. It's the 8th spot in the order. Then the pitcher Alvarez, and back around to the top of the order Gordon.
This is one of the parts of the order, especially pitching in the National League, where you set yourself up to have a nice inning. If you can bear down, make some good pitches to the 8-hole, and then all of a sudden you have the pitcher, and in most cases he's not the most complete hitter.
And the first pitch is a strike.
And then you go back to the top of the order, so bear down time here for Nathan Carnes.
Quickly gets the advantage on Mathis, 32-year-old backup catcher. And he takes care of him. Nice breaking ball there. And Mathis out on 3 pitches. So a great start to this inning for Carnes, doing exactly what he'd hoped to do.
Well, and that goes back to the talk about the command of the fastball. First 2, he's just dotting that outside corner. Now you've got a head. You can go ahead and throw that curveball that starts out, appears to be a strike, and you take it out of the zone. And because the hitter's on the defensive, more times than not, you get the chase. And that's exactly what happened.
Alvarez takes the pitch. Strike 1. Two strikes.
The thing about pitching and sequencing is you want to get out of the strike zone as quickly as you can. You get into the strike zone early and quick, so then you can get out of the strike zone to get your outs.
Alvarez fouls it back. You know, Alvarez swings the bat pretty well.
Oh, good.
Hit 193 last year. His pitchers go at 11 hits. A couple of runs batted in.
Man, when guys have that kind of average as a pitcher, you've got to pitch to them.
That is a foul ball. Get down to make sure it stays foul. I'll tell you, that's right there. You see that ball start to roll back to the line?
I did, and I was kind of surprised that that Evan maybe didn't let that thing go a little bit more, because it did look like it had some action back towards the line.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a much better view than we do, and he's a much better third baseman than either you or I.
Well, that's for sure.
But it looked from up here all this far away.
Take a look at this. Look, it starts to roll back toward the line all of a sudden.
Yeah, there it is.
Get there.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but
one out, base is empty. Alvarez extending this at bat down 0-2, and he's certainly not shortening his swing any.
no. How about that breakout?
That is outstanding for Carnes right there, 29-7. Oh, no chance on that one, and he's out on the throw down. Well, he continued to take that big swing and missed that one by plenty on that pitch in the dirt.
Well, this is my favorite right here. The old one-seamer, because you don't see that one or hear about that very often. This is Nathan Carnes. Four-seam fastball speaks for itself. The changeup, throws a changeup right there, more like a two-seam changeup. And then you see the curveball, the knuckle curve, the spike curve, where he's spinning that over just that one finger, and you can really get tight spin with that. And then the one-seamer is really just a version of a two-seamer. You just hold it a little bit off center. What you're looking for with that is just a late sink.
Dart,
Little dart. Yeah, because for the most part, when you watch Nathan Carnes, his movement on the fastball is subtle. Subtle at best. I mean, he's pretty firm but true with that heater.
Gordon bounces it into the Marlins dugout. 2 strikes. Yeah, and if you've got that fastball that's so true, it's nice to have some variation of a fastball where you can get a little bit of movement on it.
And that's what's also interesting about his changeup, because typically you throw your changeup with the same. We'll talk about that next half inning.
Yeah, he catches Gordon looking right there on the corner, mid-90s. On to the 4th, 1-0 Rays. Rays battle the Yankees Saturday, April 18th. You'll bend over backwards for an Alex Cobb Gumby, available for all fans while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up. Everybody will want a Gumby.
Who doesn't? Gumby's it's an American icon.
Asdrubal Cabrera leads it off against Henderson Alvarez. And he takes the first pitch strike. Cabrera, the difference in the game right now with his RBI single, scoring David DeJesus in the first inning. Rays appeared to have something going in that inning against Alvarez when Cabrera was then wild pitched to second. And Longoria hit a line drive, a shot that Echeverria caught at shortstop and was able to double up Cabrera. Nothing since then except for the double, the two-out double in the third by Kiermaier.
Well, that's twice now in this series that Echeverria has made a diving grab that's cost the Rays a run. He got Rene Rivera in yesterday's ball game and then gets Longoria to double off Cabrera here.
2-2. Evan Longoria next, and then Desmond Jennings, middle part of the order. Full count.
Now that's one of the ways that Henderson Alvarez, when he does get his strikeouts, will look to front door the sinker. He's going to start this in off the plate and let the sink take it to the corner. It was close.
And a base hit through the left side to the left of Solano.
I'm telling you what, that was a beautiful job by Asdrubal Cabrera. He almost gets frozen on the front door sinker, and then he's able to go out on a nasty sinker down and away and punch it through the left side. This is a great job on a tough pitch to go out there and not try to pull it, try to get down to it, and look at him just smack that ball in the hole. Not overswing. Tremendous.
Cabrera on for the second time. Here's Longoria. Ground ball, and that gets past Solano up the left field line. Cabrera's going to go to third. It'll be a double for Longoria. Rays have something cooking in the fourth. Evan, who had an RBI double in yesterday's game, comes up with a double his second time up today.
Yeah, doesn't waste any time. He gets a pitch out over the plate, drops the head, hits it hard. Donovan Solano is going to give it an effort. Just cannot get there.
He now has tied Ben Zobrist for most doubles in Rays history. The RBI double yesterday gave him the all-time club lead in extra base hits, 425, passing Carl Crawford. And he's padded that with a double here in the fourth. Now Desmond Jennings. Desmond fouls a fastball. Strike one. Desmond out second to first in the second inning. He started all 5 games and left. He's in center field today. Ground ball back to the mound, and now after looking back at second and finally a throw to first, but Alvarez looked at third and then to second where he thought he might have a play on Longoria, and it was a little closer than he wanted it to be at first.
Now this is a desperate team right here, the Marlins, and they're a chopper right back to him. You can understand the look at third, almost threw it to second, and then has to really whip it over there to first to get Desmond Jennings. Almost got lackadaisical mentally and cost himself that close. And this Marlins team trying to win this series, win their second game of the year, trying to find it out anywhere.
Yeah, they fully expect to contend in the National League East after winning 77 games last year, which was a big step in the right direction. There's Alan Dykstra.
Well, they finished this series with the Rays, and they go right back up and play the Braves again in Atlanta, and Atlanta's been smoking hot.
0-1 to Dykstra. This would be a good time for his first big league hit. Dykstra added from Durham with James Loney on the disabled list. Two and 0. Little nubber. Alvarez with the throw to first. When he got down off the mound, that prevented Cabrera a chance to score. So 2 outs now with minutes second and third.
Little number off the end of the bat from Dykstra, and you're going to watch Henderson Alvarez. Good pop off the mound, and he's going to show Cabrera the ball. Here you go. Looking back, take the out. That was well played. You know, and Cabrera, he has to respect the fact, probably not sure where Donovan Solano is. So if Henderson Alvarez is going to flip that ball, you've got to respect that, and you can't take off for home at that point.
There's Logan Forsythe, big at bat for Logan now. Rays had minutes second and third, nobody out. They're still out there with 2 outs. Fly ball center field. Ichiro drifting back on it, makes the catch. The Rays miss a great opportunity to add to their lead. Still 1-0. They'll lead more what Carnes has given him so far, and he was about as close to perfect as you could be in the third inning, striking out the side. 13 pitches, 13 strikes.
You can't do it much better than that. I mean, he just continues to work, and because he's able to get ahead early, then he can expand the zone late. His fastball's been good to both sides of the plate, and the curveball, outside of 1 or 2 that have stayed out over the plate, has been very, very sharp.
And look at this breakout. He has not gone to a 3-ball count today, only 1 2-ball count. He's been ahead most of the time. 7 first pitch strikes.
When he has a breakout like that, he's pitching like he is today, he's a nightmare to face.
Yelich, strike 1.
And there's your changeup. Now you're feeling frisky out there. The fastball, the curveball's been good. Let's start incorporating that changeup. Good one there.
One ball, one strike. Get into the middle part of the order with Stanton due next.
No more graphics.
3-1.
No more
How about
graphics.
that? Yep.
As soon as it gets fired up there, and here you go.
And ball 4. So Yelich walks to lead off the inning. And we've located Todd Callis. Todd, where are you?
Up here at the Budweiser balcony, Dwayne, one of the cool vantage points at Marlins Park. As you can see from that sign down here on the wall, 427 feet from here to home plate. Giancarlo Stanton, a little more than a year ago, not only hit one over this wall, hit one over the Budweiser bar back here. 484 feet. That came against the Padres. But a little cool spot to watch the ball game here in Miami, guys.
There's the first pitch to Stanton. It takes a strike. Well, here's that home run Todd was talking about.
You see it just disappear behind the D.
Take a look at that.
Come
oh my
on.
goodness. Now, Todd would have had to order again had he been out there. Now the ball that the Rays got a run on the pinch hit home run by Beckham yesterday was a pretty good shot too. 0-2 to Stanton.
Yeah, that hit that green wall just below the 427 sign.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot.
That is. Hit right down in here.
Runner goes. Pitch roll to the right side. He's got time. There's a flip, and now a drop ball by Dykstra. Yelich kept going to third as they tried to make the play at first, and everybody is safe. First and third, nobody out.
You know, I just wonder if Alan Dykstra was thinking about coming off first base and thinking about Yelich over at third. A slow developing play because his ball was hit off the end of the bat. Logan Forsythe, who is covering second base, has to come back all the way to get it. And Alan Dykstra right there, he just muffed it. There's the feed. He stretches the ball in and out of that glove. That's costly. That is tough.
So a major threat by Miami. There's Mike Morse. Well, the Rays had men at second and third, nobody out in the top half of this inning, could not score. Marlins first and third, nobody out in the bottom of the fourth. Big uppercut by Morse. Strike one.
Well, you could see him in between innings, Michael Morse, really getting his guys going in that dugout. Talking about the way that Henderson Alvarez is throwing the baseball, getting out of that last gem. Let's go get him some runs. Well, here's your opportunity. Nathan Karns has other ideas.
An error allowing Stanton to reach. Second error of the year. You'll recall the first one was opening day when Chris Archer missed the first baseman with a toss. And Dykstra is dropping that throw from Forsythe. Two and one. It's amazing the swing. Here's Karns with an absolutely perfect third inning, and now in trouble in the fourth. The walk and the error. Takes the count to 2-2.
And he made a quality pitch there in a 2-1 count. But when we talked about the swing from 2-1 to 1-2, and it's huge for Nathan Carnes, that 1-1 curveball that was called a ball, he's 6'5", the ball's not up, it was right down the middle. That puts him in a tough spot, but he did come back and even it up with another good curveball. See how he tries to finish him. Heater away.
And the count is full. Another big pitch. He got him to chase. How about that? 3-2. And Moore's trying to get it started. Chased.
Well, you take the fastball away to get to 3-2. And then Nathan Carnes with that curveball, he's able to spin it out over the plate. It comes out of the hand. Michael Morse is thinking that's a strike. I've got to start my swing. And then all of a sudden, it is not there. And you can see no hump in that breaking ball. Just straight down. That's a 12-6 power curveball. And a nice job by Rene Rivera to go down and block that and keep it right in front.
Ichiro Suzuki takes a fastball. That's a strike. Ichiro brought over to give them some outfield depth. Center field in the place of Ozuna today. One and one. Walk and an error, first and third. One and two. Carnes slowing it down a bit. In trouble in the fourth. It's headed the other way and will slice out of play.
Having trouble concentrating right now.
Yes, a leather-lunged youngster among us somewhere in the ballpark.
I mean, the parents they either left or they've just tuned out, because I don't know how you can stand it. I'm having a hard time doing my job up here.
The 1-2 pitch again. That's going to take it to 2-2 to Ichiro. Center field. That ball is caught by DeJesus. And a tag at third. Yelich scores. Back to first goes Stanton. And what a grab by DeJesus and left. Off Ichiro's bat, it had enough slice to it that gave DeJesus a chance, and he converted it.
Yeah, and in a tight ball game like this, a do-or-die type of play by David DeJesus. Able to backhand it on the sliding, diving catch. Heck of a play, because if this ball skips by him, Stanton's still running. And the Marlins, who knows how they can piece this together. But a great job by DeJesus to get there. And be careful jamming those wrists. Makes a heck of a play.
So the Marlins get a run. That ties the game 1-1. Runner at first, 2 outs, and here's Donovan Solano. Stanton back in at first. Solano took over for Don Kelly in the 3rd inning. Kelly hurt himself on a ground ball to third that he handled. Which is low. A ball, no strikes. Here's a strike on the corner. 1-1. Braves got a run in the first. Now the Marlins a run in the 4th. And a nice breaking pitch. A called strike to make it 1-2.
You know, it's hard to quantify confidence, but that's what you're seeing from Nathan Carnes. The way that he's delivering the ball to home plate. You had a couple of fastballs that he yanked early in the game, but since then he has settled in and he's throwing every pitch with conviction, except for that one. That's the yanked fastball in the turn. Listen, no more graphics and no more.
There's no more accolades.
Getting out ahead of anything.
Yeah.
Just let him do his thing. But you really have to like what you're seeing here as far as the aggressiveness and the way that he's going after these hitters up to this point.
2-2 now. Runner takes off. Curveball hit on the ground to third. Longoria takes it to first. That'll retire the side. They take advantage of a walk and an error and tie the game through 4 at 1. In this game today and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Kevin Cash, the Rays skipper, through batting practice today.
I mean, he does everything. He manages the team. He'll throw batting practice. He'll warm up pitchers in between innings. Saw that in spring training. He's only 37 years old, not too far removed from playing himself.
Yeah, well, there's a base hit lined into left by Rene Rivera, his first of the season. And he's aboard to lead off the 5th inning. So Rivera's aboard. He'll be happy to have that one behind him.
They're telling the bench to ask for that baseball. And that's Henderson Alvarez with a fastball up, out over the plate. A good swing by Rivera. and even better result.
Rivera had gone 0 for 17 to start the year before that base hit. Nathan Carnes, Solano close at third. Look out, up and in, and to the backstop. Down to second base goes Rivera. And boy, Carnes sprawled out in the batter's box there.
Yeah, and not real happy with that delivery from Henderson Alvarez at all. He's squaring around to bunt, and you do that, you open yourself up, expose everything, and then that fastball is right at your chin. Not cool.
You know, Alvarez this spring, remember they had a dust-up with Jordan Zimmerman of the Nationals. Pitch up again, 2-0, and that was in spring training. That's a little unsettling when you try to get in a position to bunt and you have that thing sail up there. And he puts the bunt down, and a good one. The toss to first, Gordon covering, so Rivera, who moved to second on the wild pitch, is bunted over to third. Boy, a good job by Carnes right there, especially after that first pitch sailed the way it did.
Yeah, a little disconcerting, but he settled right back in and laid down a great bunt. Got the job done.
Nice job indeed. Gives the top of the order a chance to regain the lead. Rivera now at third base. Kevin Kiermaier at the plate. One strike here. Kiermaier. Kevin doubled in the third. Hustled his way into a two-base hit, his third of the year. Rays had an opportunity in the fourth when they left men at second and third. Now a man at third with one out in the fifth.
Got to cash in here. Got to cash in here. And Kevin Kiermaier swinging the bat as well as anybody. Great guy to have up.
2 balls and a strike.
Well, he's shown a little bit of everything this year so far this first week. You know, those ground balls into the outfield, taking the extra base, showing some power.
He tracks that one in low. Ahead, 3 balls and a strike.
You don't really need to look much further than the way that he took that pitch to let you know how he's seeing the ball at the plate. Great pitch recognition, and as of right now, he is not going outside of his zone.
It's foul back, and we go to 3-2. Rays catcher Rene Rivera aboard at third base. Top of the fifth. Kiermaier walks. Pitch inside, sets up first and third for David DeJesus.
After the double in Kevin Kiermaier's last at bat, David DeJesus came up, swung at the first pitch, and it was a good sinker by Henderson Alvarez, and he hit like a 2-3 hopper right to second base. That's what Alvarez will be going for right here. Wants that double play.
And as we mentioned at the outset, he's a big ground ball guy.
He tied for the league lead last year in the National League, and grounders turned into a double play at 24.
DeJesus singled and scored in the first. He takes a strike.
And that's a pretty good take there by DeJesus, because there was no way you were going to elevate that pitch. You're going to beat that one right into the ground. That's exactly what Alvarez wants you to do. So you lay off for now.
Lead by Kiermaier. And the pitch foul back. That one up a little bit more, and DeJesus liked that location. A 2-strike count. High shot, deep to right. Stanton will go to the wall. Goodbye. Home run, David DeJesus. 3-run blast, and the Rays lead 4-1. Well, the guy who had no spot, no role on this club has really made a major impact early, and maybe none bigger than that blast.
Yeah, second big 3 RBI hit for David DeJesus in this series, and that was going to be one of those front door sinkers, and he just lets it leak back out over the inner part of the plate and down, and that is where lefties can jump on a pitch, and that's exactly what DeJesus did. Good lift, big shot.
A home run by DeJesus, and the Rays are up by 3. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera taking a strike. Soft pitch that drops in there, 0-2. That's the second career home run for DeJesus off Alvarez. Gives him 4 for 12 against him for his career.
Well, he had a nice at bat. He took the tough sinker, got a ball that was elevated away, took a big rip at it, continued to work. Then he gets the front door sinker, and he just let it go. Let that pitch travel and drop the head. He didn't bail out, didn't get caught leaning out over the plate. It was a fundamentally sound at bat and led to 3 runs.
He's in there in left field today, hitting second, and has given the Rays a major lift in the 5th. Cabrera swings and misses for strike 3. Here's that home run swing again by DeJesus.
Well, look at that ball come back down and in, textbook. The happiest guy on the team.
Now Evan Longoria takes a pitch upstairs. 7 hits for the Rays, and boy, that a big one. 2-0.
You know who that reminds me of, D-Wayne?
What, that look?
Happy.
Yeah.
With wet hair. Giddy with wet hair.
Yeah. An esteemed member of our crew, no doubt. Solano takes care of Longoria. Rays have a big inning on one big swing of the bat by David DeJesus. His first home run of the year. And the Rays have a 4-1 lead. On Sun Sports is brought to you by Chevrolet. Speeding to the finish of this 3-game series. The Rays leading 4-1. Bottom of the 5th underway. The first pitch, breaking ball into Echeverria for a strike. It's 1-1. See the line on Carnes so far through the first 4 innings. The count is 2-1. The 25-year-old shortstop Echeverria will be 26 in a couple days. At 276 last year, 227 the year before. He is not a guy who walks a lot. He walks very seldom. 2-2 the count to him. And is out on strikes.
Nasty, 2 nasty hooks to finish that at bat off by Nathan Carnes. One for a called strike, and then he dropped this one, the last one, just a little bit lower. He's into the 5th inning. He's at the bottom of the order, and he's been given a 3-run lead. Well, that is a great shot of that pitch and its effectiveness.
Jeff Mathis, the catcher, fouling a fastball the other way.
I'll tell you something else. If he's able to retire Jeff Mathis, got a pinch hitter on deck right now. I'm going to say, if Henderson Alvarez was coming to the plate, you'd wonder if he would get a little return fastball.
Yeah, he was not happy, Carnes, about that first pitch up and in when he was scurrying to bunt.
Well, some pitchers will do that. You know, when you square around, you throw a ball in at a guy or close to a guy. Those are tough to bunt. You have to get the bat out in front of you. I feel like it's going to hit you.
Toward the line in right, Kiermaier is there and makes the catch in foul territory.
Well, here's
it's too dark.
Here's Nathan Carnes, what we're talking about with the bunt. He squares around Henderson Alvarez, who has very good control, comes right at him. And a lot of times you will do that, try to keep a guy from getting the bunt down, and Nathan Carnes was not happy. You see him slam the bat and the stare down. I think he believed that that was on purpose, and if that was the case, Henderson Alvarez probably
happy not to be hitting right now. Pinch hitter for the right-hander, Jeff Baker. 1-0. One strike. We have a left-hander up in the bullpen. Brad Hand.
I was going to say there's no ER on the end of that. Just hand was up.
That's right.
Left hand.
Two and one. Pinch hitter Baker ahead of the count. It's D. Gordon, top of the order, on deck. And ball 4. So Baker aboard on the walk. And the other walk cost him a run. He walked Yelich to open the 4th. He came around to score an unearned run. Now a 2-out walk. Baker's at first. Rivera spends some time on the mound with Carnes. The hitter will be D. Gordon. Gordon, 289 last year for the Dodgers. And most of his offense came in the first part of the season, first half or so. That is, oh, he didn't go.
Yeah,
wow.
well, I think he did go, and that may have been missed by Jerry Davis. Let's take a look. Maybe not.
Yep. Tell you, he's
strong wrists.
Yes, he really fought to hold up, and I think he did.
Well, you talk about D. Gordon's year last year and getting off to a quick start. You know, that's when adjustments are made. You go through the league, you know, one time, two times, and all of a sudden adjustments made, and was just not able to catch up in the second half. And Jim Hickey coming out here now to try to settle Nathan Carnes down here with 2 outs. You don't want to let this inning start to get a little wobbly and out of hand with who's coming up.
Yeah, you got Yelich on deck, and any deeper Stanton, so Hickey's out there trying to cut trouble off at the pass.
Yep, that's a good move. You know, Jim Hickey, there's a lot that goes into being a pitching coach. First of all, you've got 12 or 13 guys at times, sometimes 11, that you're dealing with. You've got to be able to relate to all of them. But then you've got to have a good sense of timing on when to go to the mound. You know a certain guy, you know his personality, strengths and weaknesses. It was a good visit. Well, we'll see if it was a good visit.
2-0, and it's shot toward the gap into right center field. Baker's on his way to third. They're going to wave him home, and Gordon heads to third. Carnes came in 2-0, and Gordon rips a triple into right center. The Marlins get another run. It's 4-2.
And I'm sure the message from Jim Hickey was, hey, listen, you've got great stuff working today. Let's pound the zone like you've been doing all game long. And Nathan Carnes came with a fastball there, but a predictable count at a bad spot. That may be the most poorly located fastball of the day to D. Gordon. And D. Gordon jumped on it. And with his speed, there's no way you're keeping him at second base. Easy triple. And now more trouble with Yelich and Stanton looming.
Well, you can see how Gordon had 12 triples last year for the Dodgers. That's his first for the Marlins. And here's Christian Yelich. So he becomes a very big hitter in the game, which is now a 2-run contest. Yelich has been on twice. One and one.
Now, if you're Nathan Carnes, deep breath and go right back to work. Don't let this inning start to speed up on you. Understand, you're already frustrated with a 2-out walk to a pinch hitter. And then a 2-0 meatball to D. Gordon.
Well, both the walks have cost him a run. There's a strike to run the count to 1-2. Good young hitter, Christian Yelich. 284 last year for the Marlins. And back to the mound as Carnes reaches up to grab it and toss to first, limiting the damage to a run. Onto the sixth, 4-2 Rays. Made this great catch in the fourth. Went as a sacrifice fly, and at the time tied the game. But he took care of that in the fifth inning. Down 0-2 in the county. It's a 3-run home run to give the Rays a 4-1 lead. Nathan Carnes, through 5 now, has given up 2 runs with 5 strikeouts. Both walks the Marlins converted into runs. Picking up a run in the fifth inning after the unearned run in the fourth. And on to inning 6. Desmond Jennings leads off, playing center field today. First pitch in there, a strike. And the left-hander in the ball game now. 5 innings for Alvarez. One. 25 years old, 70 pitches, pitching just short of 5 innings against the Braves. Ahead of Jennings, 1-2.
And he threw very well. Just 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk.
Liner into right field. There's a base hit for Jennings to start the 6th. Desmond, nice job of going the other way. And now Dykstra's going to be lifted. Tim Beckham will pinch hit. Turned out to be a good move yesterday for the Rays. When Beckham picked up his first big league home run, he had an extended at bat against Mike Dunn and hit that one a ton.
He did. Mike Dunn was going for a fastball away and cut back across the heart of the plate, and Tim Beckham destroyed that baseball. He hit that back wall, that lime green wall. That was a rocket.
Which is a strike.
And then he enjoyed a milkshake after the game.
He did. Yep.
At least his uniform did.
Courtesy of Chris Archer. Drenching by milkshake.
That can't be fun to try to get that stain out.
1-1 now to Beckham. There's Chris Archer, who was so good yesterday. Topped off a great performance on the mound by drenching Beckham to celebrate his first big league home run. Picks up the corner.
You can see Hand with that sinker, 92-93. Good movement on that pitch. Also feature a curveball and a changeup. Pretty standard fare.
Jennings at first. He's got a lead away from Morse. Foul ball. Charlie Montoyo with the pickup. The Rays' third base coach. Jennings single into right to start the inning. Foul ball back. It was a little reminiscent of yesterday when Beckham had the 10 pitch at bat and then hit the home run.
this first week of the season, we've seen a number of the extended at-bats by this Rays lineup, putting together some really good stretches where they're working counts, fouling off tough pitches, living to fight another day.
Yeah, that's been interesting to watch. Kevin Cash has encouraged this lineup to be aggressive, but not overly aggressive. Work good at bats, but if you think you've got a good pitch to hit early in the at bat, go get it.
Yeah. And I think that's the right way to teach it. You don't want to let, a good pitch to hit early in the count go by for a called strike.
The runner goes, and Beckham fouls this one out of play.
Be ready to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys have been at times, and other times they've found themselves in these at-bats like Tim Beckham found himself in yesterday, right now, and they're able to stay alive. And yesterday, through the 10 pitches, foul off some tough ones, finally got a mistake, and he made him pay. See if he can do the same thing here.
Brad Hand, the lefty, on the mound. Keeping an eye on Jennings. Desmond picked up a stolen base here Friday night in his first attempt of the year. Take is low, and the count is 2-2. Drive into center field. Ichiro's going to have to go back, and it's over his head. Jennings hits third. Montoyo waves him to the plate. Beckham chugs for third, and he's in there with a triple. He did it again, coming off the bench, working a deep count, and he hits it over Ichiro's head in center. And again, the Rays lead 5-2.
Well, fouling off those tough pitches and then finally getting another pitch out over, and he smokes this baseball. He hit this one every bit as hard as the one from yesterday. Line drive to center field, and Ichiro Suzuki, who's got a pretty good jump on that baseball, just not able to track it down because it just had too much speed to it. And then aggressive on the base paths, and you can see he was thinking third base the whole way.
The Rays quickly get that run back on a single and a triple. This forces the Marlins to pull the infield in with nobody out in the 6th inning. And Logan Forsythe to bat against Hand. Fouls this one away, strike one. So Beckham yesterday picking up a pinch hit home run. Today, a pinch hit triple to drive in a run. Now 1-1 to Logan. Forsythe is grounded to third, hit a fly ball to center. Ground ball to third. Solano will make the throw to first. Beckham remains at third. How about this?
And not often you see a guy start the game on Friday and maybe come in here in relief on Sunday.
Yep, Steve Geltz started and pitched 2 innings on Friday. Made 35 pitches, and he's up and throwing now. Boy, this would be a nice extra run to pick up here. 1 out, man at third. Here's Rene Rivera. He taps it foul.
Well, Rene Rivera got the first hit out of the way in his last at bat. Now, how about that RBI? And he's got a great chance, infield pulled in. And all you're thinking is barrel to the baseball. Just hit it hard, and you got a chance to squeeze it through.
Takes the count to 0-2.
You're going to have to fight here because with this count, Hand is thinking strikeout.
Into the dirt, blocked by Mathis.
The way that he threw that right arm out there to keep that ball from bounding away, trying to get out and around that baseball. Hand bounced that way out in front of the plate, but watch Jeff Mathis, watch the right arm. Get it out and turn it in so he keeps the ball in front. Great job.
Count square, 2-2. There's a fly ball back into left. Yelich will go back, and it's going to be off his glove. Beckham scores. Rivera's on his way to second. And the Rays pick up their 6th run of this game. Rivera driving it over the head of Yelich, who could not corral it. Got that glove hand up there, but could not catch it.
Now this heralded outfield has struggled defensively in this series. And this by no means was an easy play for Christian Yelich, but he's a good outfielder. He got there and just could not bring it in.
Yeah, he won a Gold Glove last year. Yeah. And that sort of down on the heel of the glove, actually. Rivera drives in the run, and it's a 4-run game. There's Nathan Carnes with a man at second. First pitch is a strike. Well, they got the leadoff base hit by Jennings, and then another good at bat by Tim Beckham, pinch hitting. He tripled home a run, and with one out, Rivera got the second run of the inning home. 2 strikes on Carnes. Rays had a 3-run 5th. They've scored twice in the 6th. And strike 3 called on Carnes. 2 outs in the inning. And now the top of the order, Kevin Kiermaier will get a shot at Hand. Kiermaier has a double and a walk and a run scored. Also grounded out to first base his first time up. That's a strike. There was some good at bats. Tim Beckham part of that today, as he was yesterday.
What's so cool about that is he and Todd talked about this, you know, in the pregame show, about he's in a completely different role now. You know, Tim Beckham, ever since he's probably played baseball, has been an everyday player until this year. We've seen that before. It's not an easy role to get used to. How do I get myself ready when I'm not going to hit till maybe 2 hours after the game started? And we've seen in the last 2 days him not only come in to pinch hit, but put together great at-bats with damage.
You know, that's tough to do for a veteran hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a rookie.
Yeah.
And he's done a very nice job.
Anything that he can do to contribute to this club, he's going to be willing to do.
Kiermaier checked in time. Beckham coming back. He missed a big part of last year with knee surgery. You got a lot of company on this roster, though, the Rays, with 7 rookies on the active roster. Sometimes they're just not aware enough to be afraid. They just go out and play.
They don't carry themselves like rookies.
Yep.
You don't get the feeling. I mean, you see those numbers and you say, wow, 7 rookies?
Mm-hmm.
You're around these guys, you watch them play the game, you just don't get the feeling that there are that many. But yet, here we are.
Well, he's had 2 quality at-bats pinch hitting the last 2 days. Maybe the toughest thing to do in the game. So foul ball. Count still 2-2 on Kiermaier. Kiermaier making his first opening day roster. 24 years old. Full count. Turning into an extended inning for Hand. 30 pitches for the lefty in this inning. Ground ball. That's through into right field. Rivera will stop at third. Kiermaier heads to second. Throw there is going to be late. Stanton came up looking toward the plate, then hesitated, and Kiermaier took off for second.
Yeah, the defensive miscues continue for the Marlins. And how about Kevin Kiermaier? You talk about gutsy. He gets a base hit here. It's going to get out to Stanton pretty quickly, and Kevin Kiermaier is just going to go for broke. And he catches Stanton flat-footed and never makes a play on him. Look at him. He just you know what? That is his mindset. Out of the box, go for 2. If it's in the gap, go for 3.
Well, the Rays have 4 hits in this inning. Kiermaier, who had doubled back in the 3rd, runs that into 2 bases in the 6th inning. Here's another look at how that broke out.
He sees the throw right here, the fake, and he just kind of a slight hesitation and then picked it right back up and dared Stanton to throw him out at second. He couldn't do it.
Now Brandon Guyer will bat against the left-hander. Shoots a liner into center field, and it's caught by Ichiro to retire the side. But the Rays have a productive inning. They add a couple and lead 6-2. Today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light as we watch Giancarlo Stanton approach the plate. Most home runs in the National League since 2011, 132 by Stanton. Jay Bruce, the next closest, with 115 in the National League.
Comfortable lead for Mr. Stanton.
We have some defensive changes for the Rays as the first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a strike by Stanton. Quickly, Carnes is ahead. 0-2. Logan Forsythe moving over to play first, and Tim Beckham is at second. He moves now back of second base. They had the shift on. Up and in and off the mitt of Rivera. 1 and 2. The outfield has made some shifts as well. Jennings moves over to play left. Jesus out of the game. There is a fly ball to left. Jennings is right there to catch it. And that is out number 1. Jennings in left field. Kiermaier in center field. And Geyer now in right field after pinch hitting for the left fielder DeJesus. There's Brandon Geyer out there. So a big first out in the 6th, getting Stanton. Mike Morse takes a big cut, fouling it back for a strike. A check in plenty of time. 1-1. To the mound, sharply hit. Carnes with that glove up there to grab it. Morris is out number 2.
Yeah, quick glove there by Nathan Carnes. And even if that ball got by him, Tim Beckham was positioned perfectly to make that play, going back up the middle, but quick reflexes.
So 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. Ichiro Suzuki. It's low. Carnes coming off the 5 2/3 outing. His first of the year, and 2 outs into the 6th inning so far in this one. Ichiro fouls it. Ichiro drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to left in the 4th. That was an unearned run.
Leather lung woke up.
Yeah, those short naps. Tap foul. 1 and 2. And we couldn't even make out the cheers or whatever they were. Cut and a miss. Ichiro is out on strikes. Missed the breaking ball, and we are through 6. Nathan Carnes and the Rays hold the lead. Rays up by 4. Through 6 innings, Nathan Carnes has pitched well, and his mates have supported him with 11 hits and 6 runs. Ladies, gather your friends and make it a girls' night out at Tropicana Field on Friday, April 17th. The Rays take on the Yankees, and women will receive a Rays cross-body bag while supplies last. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Asdrubal Cabrera will lead off the 7th. He'll hit right-handed against the southpaw hand. The pitch is fouled back. Cabrera 2 hits, 2 for 3.
And those 2 hits were impressive. The way that he got them, going out, getting a changeup in his first at bat, and then punching a ball through the hole. And a good sinker.
Fouls a fastball right back.
I get the feeling that Asdrubal Cabrera has something to prove this year. He goes back to playing his comfortable natural position of shortstop. Didn't have the year offensively that he would have liked last year.
Driven toward right center field. Stanton on the move, though, and he's there to grab it. And Cabrera's the first out in the 7th. They bring the flock out to Family Fun Day when the Rays and the Yankees meet Sunday, April 19th, when kids 14 and under receive an Evan Longoria rubber duck while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Here's Evan. Longoria doubled in the 4th inning. Going with a home run and 3 doubles now on the year. On a play, 0-2. Ball, 2 strikes. Rays getting a big day from David DeJesus today, who scored twice and drove in 3 runs with a home run in the 5th. And this park is a below average home run park and really tough for left-handed hitters. The Rays have enjoyed it so far today. To the tune of their 6 runs and 11 hits.
It's so big. Massive. I mean, 344 left field line, 335 right field line, and then you get out to 418 in center.
Yeah, and the alley in right center is 392.
That's a poke.
Into center. Ichiro makes the catch. 2 gone here in the 7th inning. The Marlins went from 62 and 113 to 77 and 85 last year. And they are planning on being a part of the race in the National League this year. Jennings down to short. Echeverria's throw to first. It's a 1-2-3-7. Middle of the 7th inning from Miami, 6-2 Tampa Bay. look at this afternoon's game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. Rays with a big 3-run fifth. They had taken a 1-0 lead in the first. And as we play here in the middle of the 7th inning, it's 6-2. Nathan Carnes has given the Rays 6 solid innings. Just 1 earned run, 2 total. Striking out 6 and walking a couple. And he's out here to open the bottom of the 7th.
When you look at that game summary, what I really like is the Rays jumped out to a lead, and every time the 2 times the Marlins scored, the Rays answered. They tied up 1-1. Rays go up 4-1. Marlins get a run back. The Rays immediately stretch the lead back out. So they have answered the bell, and so has this guy right here. See the breakout there by Nathan Carnes. Want to get those numbers changed. 666. Outside of that, he's throwing the ball very, very well. A couple of walks have hurt him, but other than that, the pitches have been thrown with conviction. They've been thrown very, very well, and he's pitched with the lead very well.
We'll get into the lower part of the order here in the 7th inning. Solano, who's hitting 6, will lead off, and then the 7 and 8 hitters to follow Echeverria and Mathis. Rays with the bullpen busy. We saw Geltz and Beliveau both Friday night. Geltz worked 2 innings and started that. So the Rays bullpen limbering. Pitch count in the mid-90s, 96 pitches for Carnes. And here's Donovan Solano. First pitch is a strike. Drives it toward left center field with some hang, and Kiermaier is there to make the catch.
Love watching his routes. Yeah, he took off like a banshee straight across, and then as he starts to read that baseball, he starts to peel back towards the wall and makes the catch. I'll tell you what, a good jump, elite speed. Well, here it is. You'll see him do it yourself. Start to shape it just a little bit and make the catch.
That's a Maria. Which is a strike. Two strikes the count. Getting an update on that injury to Don Kelly, who when he left the game early, and he sustained a broken finger fielding that ground ball.
You know, it looked like, and we saw a replay of it, but it looked like he got his throwing hand into the glove a little bit too early, and the ball hits the finger. You'll see it right here. The hand's coming in with the ball. Boom. Just got in the way, and that's all it took. Broken finger.
So here is Jeff Mathis, the catcher. Well, that will affect the versatility on this roster. Kelly, as we discussed earlier, had played all over the place. And 2-0 the count. That puts Carnes behind 3-0. That's Prado on deck. Martin Prado to pinch hit. Mathis should get aboard.
Chris
balls
Archer
and a strike.
Chris Archer is sitting on the bench right now going, hey, where was my 104 pitches? I gave up 1 hit in 7 innings and I got pulled with 84.
Yep.
And here's Carnes approaching 110.
Toward the line and left. Will there be room? Yes. Caught by Jennings. It's a 1-2-3 7th inning. On to the 8th. 6-2 Tampa Bay. What's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll hear from Rays starter Jake Odorizzi. And Orestes will take a look at the Blue Jays slugger Jose Bautista and break down his approach. Our coverage begins at 6:30 as the Rays open a 4-game series in Toronto.
We could save Orestes the trouble and just tell you what his approach is like right now real quick. Hands up high, feet close together, as hard as you can swing. In a nutshell.
Yep, he could be an intimidating figure up there at the plate. Well, Tim Beckham takes the pitch, and that's a strike. Another big pinch hit for Beckham today in the 6th when he tripled. So he has the home run out of the way. Now the triple out of the way. 1-1. Rays with 11 hits. And they've shown that they're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. 9 of those hits have come with 2 strikes. And the other 2 have come on the first pitch. So if it's there, they're going after it. But they're not afraid to work the count either.
That is such a nice combination to have. Have guys ready to hit early on if they get a good pitch, but then have a group of guys that are not afraid to go deeper into a count, not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, will battle you, force a pitcher to work hard. That's how you get yourself into a bullpen early.
Bit of that one to stay alive. Foul. Beckham with a pinch hit home run in yesterday's game. Rays have had 2 other pinch hit home runs by rookies dating back to '98. Bubba Trammell hit one, and Johnny Gomes hit one in '05, and now Beckham. And they're going to take a look at Mathis. I think he caught that foul ball off his wrist. Mike Redmond, who knows all about that, a former catcher, their manager out there. Let's take another look.
Well, that's exactly right. The top of that hand. You know, you see a lot of catchers, especially with nobody on base, trying to hide that throwing hand behind their leg in the squat so as not to have something like this happen. We saw what a ball off the hand could do to Don Kelly.
Yeah, and Mathis right now not all that spry with that hand.
No.
And they're going to, it would appear, take him out of the game. So the Marlins, who already early in this game lost Don Kelly, it would appear that Mathis will depart. And the Marlins will get another catcher out there. Well, the Rays have a lead here in the 8th inning. They'll be headed to Toronto immediately following this game. Jay Odorizzi is going to start that series on the hill for the Rays. Boy, he was outstanding in his first start.
Yeah, the line speaks for itself, but the way that he got to that line, the way that he was in attack mode, the game wasn't coming to him. He was taking control of the game with the way that he attacked the Baltimore hitters, so that was a great thing to see.
Well, there's a matchup, R.A. Dickey and Odorizzi. Tomorrow night, our coverage begins at 6:30. Matt Andriese will get the start for the Rays in Game 2 against Daniel Norris. Rays not announcing their starter for Game 3 against Mark Burley, Aaron Sanchez, and Chris Archie. You want to see two young hard throwers? Try Thursday night. A lot of heat up in Toronto for that one. Jared Saltalamacchia now takes over for Mathis behind the plate. It's 1-2 to Beckham. And he fouls this one. Rays lead by 4. They have out-hit the Marlins 11-2. It's foul the other way, and here we are again. Down 1-2. He's extended the at-bat to at least 7 pitches.
He gets a breaking ball and he hammers it foul up the left field line, then off speed away, and he goes out and fouls out. You know, tough pitches. Just stays alive. Last time he got a mistake out over the plate, hammered it to center.
And is out on strikes this time.
Nothing you can do about that. That was just a perfectly located two-seam fastball by Mr. Hand. 92. I mean, perfect.
That'll be Logan Forsythe against Hand. Alvarez worked 5. Hand starting his 3rd inning of work. There's 2 1/3 to his credit. Lifted into right center field. That's going to be in there. Forsythe on his way for extra bases. Jumped on the first pitch and has himself a 2-base hit.
Dwayne, you talked about it at the beginning of the season. Just last week, we're talking about Logan Forsythe going to get a lot of playing time early in the season because of the injury to Nick Franklin, and how impressed you were with his opposite field, where he was driving the ball in spring training to the opposite field. And here's a great shot of it. Elevated fastball away. He lets it travel, trusts his hands, and he hammered that ball out into right center.
Yeah, he's a much more comfortable hitter this year than he was at the start of last year. And getting considerable playing time. And Rene Rivera, he has a 2-hit day. 2 for 3. Catches the edge, and it's 1-1. Rays figure to get more offense out of their catchers than they did a year ago. And so when Rivera got off to that hitless start, 0 for 17, I'm sure some folks are wondering about that, but a single, a double, a run scored, and an RBI today put a little different look on that one. And how about this? Saltalamacchia just took that one off his hand. And Mathis, who has left already. And take a look at this.
Hand out in front again, and you see it right off the knuckles. You want to get that hand away. This is just a carbon copy of what happened to Jeff Mathis and caused his early departure.
Wide, 2-2. Rivera's first hit today came off the starter, right-hander Henderson Alvarez. He doubled in a run in the 6th against Hand, facing him again in the 8th. Shot toward the gap. On the run, Ichiro, and he can't hold it. Forsythe will be waved home, and Rivera is on his way to second. The Rays pick up their 7th run. Forsythe scores on the double by Rivera.
When Ichiro Suzuki did a nice job getting a jump on that rocket by Rivera and getting to it, but another ejecto mitt in the Marlins outfield. This ball's going to rattle around in that glove. You see it right here, right off the heel once again, just like Christian Yelich earlier in the game, and not able to pull it in.
Well, here's Steven Souza Jr. hitting now. Carnes gave the Rays 7, and Souza hits. Rays with 13 hits, 10 of those with counts of at least 2 strikes, and the other 3 on the first pitch of the at-bat. Souza up on the count, 2-0. Rays 5 of 13 with runners in scoring position. Three and 0. Eight extra base hits for the Rays. 6 doubles, a home run, and a triple. Jesus hit the home run. Beckham has the triple. There's 3-1 now on Souza Jr. Count is full.
Well, you got to figure that Hand is going to come with another sinker, another fastball. Steven Souza has gotten a pretty good look at 5 of them. I'd like to see him turn it loose here. Pitch out over the plate and drive something, get him going.
Foul back. We'll see another 3-2 pitch. Redmond's team off to a 1-4 start right now. The Rays have built a 5-run lead. Under it, and he lifts it in the shallow center. Ichiro makes the catch. That's the second out.
Souza not real happy with himself there. He got a couple of pitches out over the plate and a good pitch, a couple of good pitches to swing at. Just got underneath that. How about the start of the year for Kevin Kiermaier?
Couple more extra base hits in this game.
You know what's amazing is he's had such a tremendous start to the season. It's less than a week old. His average is 400, and then you think back to Ted Williams that did that for the entire season.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. How can you be that hot for that long?
Right? I mean, as hot as he's been, he's right at 400. And then to hit that for the year.
Yeah, that's really a great point. Milwaukee couldn't find that ball. It had bounded right out in front of him. First inclination is to look behind you. And side to side, it was in front of him the whole time.
Here's exactly what you're talking about. So as a pitcher, you got to start yelling to your catcher, especially at home when the crowd's not going to be as rowdy being on the road, and try to direct him to that baseball. Help him out.
An 0-2 count. Stays that way. With that opening of the Toronto series, the Rays go back in against AL East opponents. 28 of their first games, 25 against American League East teams. Off the mitt, but no move up. Just 1-2.
I'll tell you, Mike Redmond cannot be happy with what he's seeing out of his team. Put the record aside. This has been sloppy by the Marlins all day long.
Yeah, well, the day started when their center fielder was late getting to the ballpark.
Yep.
And he was dropped from the lineup.
And with the play of the other outfielders, you wonder if they all had dinner together last night.
So it's been a tough day for the Marlins. We've had some near misses in the outfield to the benefit of the Rays. In a short right. Stanton makes the catch. Rays get one run on a couple hits and leave a man. Rays now lead by 5. over the Marlins in Miami. Well, the Rays got a great pitching performance from Chris Archer yesterday, and Nathan Carnes gives the Rays an outstanding performance in this game.
You know, he really picked up where he left off in his last start, where he gave up 6 runs in the first 2 innings and then went 3 2/3 scoreless, and he looked more like that guy here this afternoon. Very convincing in his performance. Couple of walks, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 7 innings, and he was very aggressive in the strike zone. And when he's able to do that and he puts that curveball to work, he can have days like this every 5.
Jeff Beliveau, the new pitcher for the Rays, facing Martin Prado. Prado pinch hitting. So they got 3 innings from Brad Hand. Beliveau makes his 4th appearance.
And he's truly been the lefty specialist, because those 3 appearances have netted him 1 whole inning.
Two balls and a strike. Sinking liner into right, falls in front of Geyer. Prado has a pinch single.
Martin Prado, so adept at using the whole field. He's a good hit and run guy. He will shoot the ball to right field like he did just there. That's what makes him such a tough hitter to have to face. Hits the ball where it's pitched.
D. Gordon had picked up a triple in the 5th. The pitch is a strike on the inside corner. We're getting word that Jeff Mathis has left this game with a fracture of his 4th finger. And that's the same injury sustained by Kelly at the outset of this game.
That's creepy.
Ground ball, that's going to sneak its way through. And down to second base goes Prado. Gordon gets it through the infield, past the diving Forsythe, who's at first. The Marlins have a couple of men on with nobody out.
You're starting to wrap around. This is a breaking ball here that D. Gordon able to slap it just by Logan Forsythe over there at first base. And the Rays with that 5-run lead, but still gets a little dicey. You've got Yelich here. You've got Giancarlo Stanton on deck. Nobody's out. I want this inning to get out of control, and that's why Jim Hickey's out there going over the game plan here on Yelich.
Yeah, and as we discussed the other night, Yelich can swing the bat pretty well against lefties. Just a good hitter overall. It's Kirby Yates up in the bullpen for the Rays. Yelich 1 for 2, a single and a walk. Out pitcher first his last time. And he misses the breaking ball. Yelich hit .377 against lefties last year. One and one. Beliveau about 2/3 of an inning in Friday's game. Two and one.
Jeff Beliveau trying to retire Christian Yelich here, more than likely his last hitter, and he'll get to face. Love a sharp ground ball right at a middle infielder.
That foul ball takes the count to 2-2. Beliveau trying to get the tough left-handed hitter. He had good numbers, Beliveau did, against lefties and righties last year. Dangerous right-handed hitter on deck in Stanton. And a cut to miss. Big strikeout for Beliveau here on Yelich. So that's the first out. Runners at first and second. Here's the strikeout pitch.
A well-located fastball, 87 miles an hour.
Kevin Cash out to make the pitching change with the dangerous Stanton coming up. Rays tumbler you get when you buy a Rays Flex Pack starting at just $59. Save up to 50% and pick up any 3, 6, or 9 games with no blackout dates. Everything tastes better in an official Rays tumbler. So get yours at RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Kirby Yates, the new pitcher for the Rays. Two men on, one out. Giancarlo Stanton in the box. Pitch is up, out of the zone. 1 ball, no strikes.
Kirby Yates knows exactly what Giancarlo Stanton is thinking right here. His job to make quality pitches.
Leaning back from that one. 2-0.
And this is where you don't, the kind of territory you don't want to venture into. Tough enough to face Stanton, 2 runners aboard. You're falling behind 2-0. Asking for trouble.
ball toward the right field line. Foul ball, and Forsythe gets out there to make the catch. Pop fly in foul territory, and a nice job by Forsythe to twist his way out there to make the grab.
Yeah, that's not an easy play to make when it's over your head like that. Here's a quick pitch by pitch, and Kirby Yates, this at-bat did not go according to plan at the beginning. Misses with a slider there, then a changeup that's up, but 2-0. He comes back with a quality pitch moving away. Giancarlo Stanton just kind of pops that thing down the line, and Forsythe able to scramble back and make the catch.
Here's Mike Morse. There's a strike.
I'll tell you what you're seeing here with the Rays attacking Michael Morse is get it close. Just get it up there close. And he's going to take a rip. We've seen him going after off-speed stuff in the dirt all afternoon long. It's been fastballs away, off speed, short.
Down the left field side, that's a fair ball. Pounding into the corner. Grotto will score. Gordon heads to the plate. A double for Morse, and that makes it a 3-run ball game at 7-4.
And we said fastballs away and off speed short. This was off speed, but it was not short. It was out over the plate where Michael Morse could get to it. You'll see it right here. The ball just stays out over, and he's able to whack it right down the line, right on the line.
And just fair. Now it's Ichiro with Morse on second. Ichiro starting in center, drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to left in the fourth. Fouls the fastball back, 0-2. Carnes for 7, Belleville for a third. Yates has recorded 1 out and allowed the double. Ground ball to the left side for a base hit. Jennings up with it. Stopping at third is Morse. An 0-2 pitch, and Ichiro just rolled it into left.
Now that looked like another changeup off speed that was up enough that Ichiro could just go out and pepper that ball to the left side. These hitters, they know where they're being played defensively. And so Ichiro protecting, gets a ball away. Look at him just slap it. He just literally, okay, fine. And he's very proficient at that. Slaps it right in the hole. Marlins extend the inning.
Kevin Cash to make another pitching change. Reminder coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Rich and Orestes anchoring the coverage. Kevin Cash press conference will be a big part of that. Todd Callis will gather interviews from the clubhouse. All on Rays Live, the postgame with Rich and Orestes. Ernesto Frieri, the new Rays pitcher. He faces Donovan Solano in on the corners. And Solano sends it down the left field line. That's a foul ball. Just foul by a foot or two. That would have been trouble. Marlins starting to smell the opportunity to get right back in this thing late here in the 8th. It's gone from a 7-2 game to 7-4. That's a strike on the outside edge.
Well, that was a nice pitch by Frieri. Good, well-located fastball driven right to the outside corner. And now up 0-2. Stretch it out a little bit.
Fly ball into right. Geyer's going to be there to make the catch to retire the side. They send 7 to the plate, score a couple, and the Rays lead by 3. Sea-Doo Spark is the most affordable watercraft on the water, starting at only $49.99 or as low as $79 a month. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays wrapping up the series from Miami, even at a game apiece right now. And the Rays up 7-4 as we go to the 9th inning. Brian Morris is the new pitcher for the Marlins.
And 3 games already. 3 innings, couple of strikeouts, big arm for Morris. And with his team able to plate a couple of runs last half inning, looking to hold this Rays lineup down. But the one thing we've seen from the Rays here this afternoon is when the Marlins have made a move, the Rays have answered. They've done it the last 2 times the Marlins have scored. Let's see if they can do it for the 3rd time.
Brandon Guyer to face Brian Morris first. Pitch is low. Martin Prado stays in the game after pinch hitting. He's in the 9th spot and at 3rd base, so Morris goes into the spot vacated by Solano. And the bunt attempt is foul. The count is 1-1. Of course, that's a significant part of Geyer's game. Brandon Guyer trying to put down the bunt He had 7 bunt hits last year to lead the team. Morris finds the zone. 1-2.
And Brandon Guyer in a similar situation last year that Tim Beckham finds himself in this year. Going from an everyday player coming up through the minor leagues to having to make that adjustment. And as the season went on, Guyer got more and more comfortable.
And Guyer's out on strikes.
And tough to be comfortable on a slider like that from Morris. Power. Start it on the plate, take it off.
Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Boys and Girls Club of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs promoting character and leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. For information, visit foxsportssupports.com. As Drupal Cabrera facing Brian Morris. First pitch strike by Morris. Rays saw Morris here in the game on Friday night, the 10-inning, 10-9 final. He pitched a scoreless 10th and picked up the victory. Oh, 2. Ball and 2 strikes. Evan Longoria is on deck. The count evens at 2-2. Foul. Cabrera with 2 hits and a run batted in today. He's headed up to Toronto following this game. We'll be with you tomorrow at 6:30. Blue Jays with R.A. Dickey on the hill and Jake Odorizzi for the Rays. Going to run the count all the way to 3-2. Cabrera asking for time, granted, so he steps out. Otherwise, one of those feet has to remain in the batter's box.
Better get permission or you will receive the letter.
And that pitch is low for ball 4.
I thought it was interesting that they've already been sending letters out to different players for violating the pace of play rules, and Clay Buchholz got tuned up with a letter.
How about that?
Yeah, as a hitter in the opening series against the Phillies for stepping out.
Times of game have, at least in the early stages, been reduced by 9 minutes to this point. I think they were 3:01 last year overall, 2:52 so far this year. Whereas the Rays were at 3:18, I think.
3:19.
3:19. Well,
I think.
Didn't want to make it any worse than it was.
No. Well, listen, outside of yesterday, they're on the long end of the spectrum so far this year.
Pitch is down. 2-0. New commissioner will be in Toronto tomorrow. It's the Blue Jays home opener. So we might get more word on that.
Yeah.
Sorted other topics. 2-0 here on Evan Longoria. It's 2-1. Anderson Alvarez worked 5, gave up 4 runs, and allowed 3 runs in 3 innings. And now Morris. And this puts Evan up into count 3-1.
Now this is where he can really hone in on a certain pitch in a certain location and turn it loose here against Morris.
And ball 4 is wide. Couple of walks issued by Morris. Well, that was an issue for the Marlins bullpen in the game Friday night when the Rays tried to make that furious comeback, only to drop a 10-inning game 10-9. So it'll be Desmond Jennings with 2 men on and 1 out. See Echeverria, Saltalamacchia, and Prado due up in the bottom of the 9th. Ernesto Friari got the final out in the 8th. Desmond up the middle, knocked down by the pitcher Morris. Out at second, safe at first.
Well, another ball in and out of the glove of a Marlins defender, and this one cost him probably a double play. It was sharply hit by Desmond, but Morris got his glove there. Pops out, still makes a nice play to get the lead man. Desmond Jennings hustling up the line, able to beat the return throw. Scooting there.
So 2 outs with men at first and third for Tim Beckham. Beckham entered as a pinch hitter in the 6th and tripled. Called out on strikes in the 8th. He bats again in the 9th. Now he's down 0-2. Tough slider. Cabrera, who walked, is at third. Jennings reached on a fielder's choice. He's at first. And 2 strikes on Beckham. Jennings back in. Rays 13 hits, 10 of those have come in some variation of 2 strike counts today.
That's impressive. A lot of extra base hits too. Good contact, good hustle. Rays came ready to play today.
Pitch blocked by Saltalamacchia. Saltalamacchia had the day off until Mathis was injured, suffering a broken finger. 2 Marlins have left this game with broken fingers. Don Kelly, who started at third. Jeff Mathis behind the plate. Cut and a miss. Beckham got just a little piece of it, and Saltalamacchia could not hang on. So Beckham is still alive. Here's how close it was. We got just enough to prevent Saltalamacchia from hanging on to that one. And Beckham gets another shot. Another tapper foul.
Tell you what, these at-bats that Tim Beckham has put up over the last couple of days. The first few against lefties, but now here against a tough righty with good stuff, and he continues to stay alive.
Beckham hits it on the ground and a base hit into right. That's going to score Cabrera. Another impressive at bat by Beckham, and he drives in a run with it to pick up the 8th run of the afternoon for the Rays. It's now 8-4.
How about that at bat by Beckham against the tough righty Morris, and then after a couple of balls he was able to fight off. He gets one up out over the plate. He stays inside the baseball. He uses the right side of the field, and the Rays do indeed answer the Marlins. Come right back with a run of their own.
And another hit with 2 strikes. That's 11 of their hits with 2 strikes in the count. And Beckham, who entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning, has played a major role in this game. He's had 3 at bats. He's seen 21 pitches.
And then count the 10 yesterday. 31 pitches in 4 at bats.
Yeah. Logan Forsythe takes a pitch for a ball. David Phelps up in the bullpen for the Marlins. Have done a good job of answering the Marlins today, and they do it again in the 9th. 6 of 17 with men in scoring position for the Rays. They have Jennings at second, Beckham at first right now with 2 outs and a run home in the 9th. 1-2. Has been a battling bunch, even from that first homestand at the Trop.
They're really starting to create an identity. You know, you do it one game, okay, but we've seen it time and again. And then you start to take ownership of that, and then you start to take pride in that, and then that becomes who you are.
Yeah.
That's what defines you, and that's what you bring every single night. You're able to do that on the offensive end, and then you start to think about the possibilities with this Rays pitching staff as it becomes more and more healthy. A fun season.
2-2 to Forsythe. And strike 3 call. So the Rays are out in the 9th, but they do pick up a run. They lead by 4. The Marlins will have Echeverria, Saltalamacchia, and Prado due up. I know your point right there.
That's what I love. Every time the Marlins scored, the Rays would answer in their next half of the inning all game long to maintain that 4-run lead that they have right now.
Ernesto Frieri got the last out of the 8th. He faces Danny Echeverria to open the bottom of the 9th. First pitch is ball 1. One and one.
Baseball is a funny game in the sense that it feels like the Rays have dominated the day, and yet 8-4. Not as comfortable as you would like.
Yep. Fly ball lifted into center for Kiermaier. One away. Always important to get the leadoff man when you're trying to close out a game, and there is out number 1. And against Jared Saltalamacchia to the plate. Saltalamacchia, his name on that jersey almost runs right off the jersey. I'm not sure that's what Bill Veeck had in mind in 1960 when he put names on the back of the White Sox players' uniforms. How about that? That's a horseshoe on the back. High fly ball deep into right center field. Kiermaier to the wall, and that's gone. So Saltalamacchia on the first pitch hits it out of here, and it's 8-5.
Now that's the one threat that Saltalamacchia brings. A lot of holes in the swing. It's a long swing, but it's also a powerful swing. And if he does catch one clean, he's got the ability to do what he just did.
So the Marlins going to run on one swing of the bat. And again here, you've got to hit it a long way to get it out of here. Now Prado. Martin Prado opened the 8th with a pinch hit single and scored. Fly ball into left. Jennings is there to catch it. So that's 2 away. D. Gordon has had a good day. He's had a pretty good series here. He was 0 for 4 yesterday, but very busy Friday night offensively when he scored 4 runs. And he has 2 hits, a triple, and a run batted in this game. Frieri's pitch is ball 1. Fly ball to right. That'll send Geyer back, and that's going to be off the wall. Gordon has a double.
We often talk with the changeup of having good arm speed and keeping everything the same, have it mimic the fastball. Well, these last 2 changeups from Frieri, his body slowed up. D. Gordon took the first one, and then the second one, he was all over. See that? Not fooled at all. He read the body slowing down, the arm slowing down, right there. That does not look like the fastball, and D. Gordon picked up on it and hammered that ball.
Jim Hickey will go to the mound.
Yeah, that's the one thing. The mindset of a changeup is four-seam fastball, and you let the grip do the work. When you start thinking changeup, you'll have a tendency to slow up either your body or your arm or both. When you do that, the hitters at this level are good enough to pick up on it right away, and you just basically tell them what's coming.
Let's get Jepson up, busy in the bullpen. Trying to stay away from Boxberger, who has pitched in each of the first 2 games here. also pitched in Wednesday's game. They did have Thursday off, but that's 3 times in the last 4 days he's pitched. And now here's Christian Yelich. Pitch is a strike. So Yelich with a single and a walk today. Stanton on deck. Don't want to face him, and a ground ball to Beckham. This game is over. The Rays win it on a ground ball off the bat of Christian Yelich. And the Rays take this game in the series. They win it 8-5. And so the Rays get to the break-even mark through the first 6 games of the season. They have won 3 and dropped 3, taking 2 out of 3 today. 8-14-1 for the Rays with 7 men left. 5-7-1 with 6 left for the Marlins. Nathan Carnes will get the win. He is 1-1. Alvarez the loss, dropping his record to 0-2. Took 3 hours and 16 minutes to play this game. And the Rays win it before 20,199 here in Miami. So the Rays now with 48 wins in the overall series against the Marlins. That series, the Citrus Series, now tied 48-48 following this victory here for the Rays this afternoon. Right now, let's go to Todd Callis.
All right, Dwayne, with David DeJesus. David, great game today. You had that big 3-run home run. Do you feel like in this series, the double off the wall, that home run, you were seeing the ball well?
Definitely. I just trying to do my job when I'm up there. Whenever they give me the chance to play, I want to take advantage of it. I was able to get 2 good pitches over the plate, and I was able to do something. I think I hit the ball better the other night when it went off the wall, and but this one had the backspin on it, and it was able to leave.
Now we're seeing the home run, and you got down in the count 0-2, and you still were able to unleash on a pitch, huh?
Totally. The bat before, I went too aggressive, so I was like, I knew that, when 2 strikes, he likes to come inside and front door to 2-seam, and I was able to get to it and keep it fair, and it carried on out.
You had played a decent amount of outfield this spring. We saw you at Port Charlotte, but in a big league game, I think June 18th was the last time you were out in the outfield. Pretty nice play out there for a guy who hadn't been out there in a while.
Yeah, it's always fun to be out there. I pride myself on being able to play every facet of the game. So, oh, wow. Kind of a weird angle on it. I don't know what I did there, but I was able to, catch it, and we were able to hold him to 1 run that inning. That was big, and then we scored, I think, 3 runs the next inning. So it was one of those, it kind of changed the game. So I'm happy to be on the winning side of it.
You were a guy, and we talked to you in the spring, who handled the situation probably as well as anybody could have, not knowing if you'd be on this team, possible trade. Here you are on the team now, and with the Jaso injury getting some more at-bats, you must be thrilled with the way this thing worked out.
Oh, yeah. I'm privileged to be a Major League Baseball player and to have a jersey on and go out there and play the game. And, whatever team it was going to be on, I was going to go out there and give my best, but I'm happy that I'm a Ray now and, just going out there and having fun with the guys.
Nice job today, Dave. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Good stop for the Rays here in Miami. They come away with a series victory. Take 2 games out of 3 and win this one 8-5. Carnes picks up his first win of the year to even his record. Rays move on to Toronto. We'll be with you at 6:30 tomorrow on Sun Sports with Game 1 of that 4-game series. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our entire crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays live the post game next.